The Matrix franchise concluded in 2003. 18 years later, we finally got another installment, The Matrix Resurrections. I watched this sequel on HBO Max, and here's my review. Going into this, I made sure to avoid spoilers. I did hear shit about it being a woke movie. Considering everything is woke garbage today, I was fully prepared to watch woke trash. Thankfully, the movie was not woke. Now, there is stuff in there that you can consider woke, but you'd really be nitpicking. The important thing is the movie was about the story. Anything woke or anti-capitalism messages were secondary and either built into the story well or not a factor in the story. Now, before I made this video, I checked out some other reviews, seeing what other people were saying, and a huge factor with liking this movie is Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions. The sequels of The Matrix were highly criticized. People hated them, and they still hate them. I think the Matrix sequels are very underrated movies. I was not someone that hated them when they came out. I liked the original a lot more and I was disappointed, but as time went on and I revisited them, I realized that the movies are much deeper than people think. So I really like the Matrix sequels. A lot of people still don't. They say, oh, it should have ended after the first one. That's what I originally thought, but the story wasn't over after the first movie. There was so much more to the story. In the first Matrix, you don't know anything about the Matrix. In Matrix Reloaded, you learn about programs. Then the big reveal, you find out the one is fake news. It's a system of control. Neo is an anomaly that is used to balance out the equation of the Matrix. Now, a lot of people get bored when the architect talks because they don't know what the fuck he's talking about. So if you don't like the Matrix sequels, I understand, but I highly suggest rewatching them. I suggest checking out the channel Matrix Explained and watch their in-depth analysis for each movie. Now, for the people that follow me on my Star Wars channel, this is not Matrix Sexplained like Star Wars Sexplained. This is a legit channel. Matrix Explained, and it's easily the best Matrix channel. So given that I liked all three Matrix movies, I did like Matrix Resurrections. There's stuff I really liked and stuff I didn't like. And going into this, I've heard that this is possibly a trilogy, so I kept that in mind while watching it. We're not going to get everything revealed in this movie, and there's potential to build off of this. The beginning, I don't know what was going on. They were in that building with the doors from Matrix Reloaded. I don't know why they were watching Trinity. I'm sure there's an explanation for it. I didn't care to look into it before this review. We see a black Agent Smith, and I guess he goes rogue or something and teams up with the blue-haired what's-her-name. They want to find Neo. Now, I don't know if it was revealed in this movie exactly why they want Neo. They said they had an instinct to find him, but I don't know if there was a real purpose to find him like Morpheus had one in the original. We get to Neo, he's in his 50s, and he is a game designer. In this life, he has designed the Matrix video game and works for Warner Brothers. The movie is maybe a tad too meta. I wasn't sure where they were going with this. I thought they might make this Tom Anderson the real Tom Anderson, and everything that happened in the first three movies was completely fake. I'm happy they did not do that. Neo did go through his crazy adventures, but he is being manipulated to live his life and forget his past. I'd say the first third of this movie was close to brilliant. I was on the edge of my seat. I wanted to know what was going on with Tom Anderson. It was mind-bending. It was trippy. The first time Neo was offered the red pill, he declines it, and I don't blame him. The next time around, he knows fucked up shit is going on, and he's ready for the red pill. Neil Patrick Harris is the psychiatrist who is really the new architect of the Matrix. He is called the Analyst. He's been manipulating Neo to stay in this life. Now, what I don't understand is Agent Smith is Neo's boss for some reason. This is something that was not explained. How did Smith return? No answer. Why is Smith so powerful? No answer. I know he was the negative of Neo's positive in the first Matrix, but how exactly was he brought back? His program was deleted. They didn't explain how his program was resurrected. I did kind of like the angle, though, that he's not as pissed off at Neo. He kind of has an admiration for Neo and really just wants his freedom. But we don't have an answer, like, what's his purpose there? There was too many references and flashbacks to the first Matrix and the sequels. I thought it was effective, but there was just way too many of it. I've heard comparisons to The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens was a soft reboot, rehash of the original. original. The big fucking difference is Neo was actually in this movie. Luke Skywalker was not in The Force Awakens. The last scene doesn't count. And another difference is The Force Awakens was open-ended garbage writing. Matrix Resurrections was a lot more clever, and hopefully they have ideas for sequels. Neo awakens from his pod, he gets rescued. I know I said they did this too much, but some of the reusing of concepts from the original was powerful. The movie lives up to the name, Resurrections. Neo was resurrected and had to be red-pilled again. They copied the training scene with Morpheus. It helped Neo progress and rediscover his skills, but I was not liking the new Morpheus at all. I think his one line as an agent was better than anything he did in the movie. Speaking of the agents, we got almost nothing from them. That was a little disappointing. Back to Morpheus, we learn he's a program that can take form in the real world with little robots. This is a lot like the Deus Ex Machina from the Machine City. It's interesting, I just didn't care for the character. They didn't need some fake news Morpheus to be Morpheus in this movie. They could have had a completely different character, and there was no reason to make him an agent at the beginning. That's something they introduced, him becoming a rogue agent, and they didn't even develop. This character was garbage. And a lot of people were upset that Lawrence Fishburne wasn't in the movie, but seeing how the movie played out, we really didn't need Morpheus in this movie. The character is dead. This takes place 60 years after Revolutions. Niobe makes a comeback. She's the leader of the humans. She was kind of a bitch, not the most likable character. One of the reasons I like this movie is the story that it created with the humans and machines. There was peace. Humans are working with the machines. They built an even better city, and there was a machine civil war. But they are still haunted by the Sentinels. Also, the machines did secretly resurrect Neo and Trinity and put them in the Matrix. I want to know a little more about that. The movie goes downhill when it starts to become about Trinity. We gotta rescue Trinity. It's not terrible, it just wasn't executed great. So they disobey orders and go into the Matrix to get Trinity. Immediately, Neo runs into Agent Smith. I would have loved to see Hugo Weaving back, but I thought this new guy played the character well. In addition to Smith, Neo has to fight other exile programs like he did in Matrix Reloaded. He also sees the Merovingian. This was definitely the worst part of the movie. The Merovingian looked like some drunk homeless guy. I know he took an L in the Matrix sequels, but why did they reduce this great character to comic relief? The Merovingian should have been the main villain of this movie behind all this shit. It was definitely a missed opportunity. He's alive. I guess they can sober him up for the next one, but man, they fucked up this character. Inexcusable. Smith and Neo are fighting. Smith is about to kill Neo until Neo awakens his powers. It's strange he tries to kill Neo in this scene, yet he's saving him in another. Maybe he was just trying to awake his powers in the first place. Who knows? Then we get a scene where Trinity walks into the coffee shop and sees Neo along with everyone else. The timing of it makes zero sense. Neo simply wants to ask her to join him and leave it up to her. At first she declines, but then realizes who she really is and decides she never wants to see her family again. Think about how powerful this is. You're married and have kids, you're in your 40s, 50s, then you realize that your family is fake news. So you decide you're never going to talk to them again. That's just weird. I guess it makes sense in the moment. She was building up to this, but she wasn't attached to her fake kids? Of course she hated her toxic husband, stupid man. I don't know. I just thought that whole scene was rushed and just not executed well. They could have done something else with the story. Why was everyone there to witness this? Then there's a lot of action. All the shooting and the car chasing was very forgettable. Then we get to the scene on the rooftop and it's revealed Trinity has the powers of the One. I wish they wouldn't have done this. I think it's stupid. It comes off like a stupid forced diet from fake news Disney Star Wars, but there is an explanation for it. Neo and Trinity have had a bond. Neo's code for the One was activated after Trinity kissed him. Neo spread his code to Smith when he killed him. It appears Neo spread his code to Trinity when he saved her life in The Matrix Reloaded, or it happened when they kissed in this movie, who knows. The machines could also not resurrect Neo unless Trinity was close to him, so only by putting their pods close together, this new Matrix was able to work and the equation was able to be balanced. So I guess Trinity has the power powers of the One too. I still think it's stupid, but hopefully they go into it deeper in the next movies. One of the worst scenes in this movie is the ending. Neo and Trinity confront the Analyst. Trinity smacks around the toxic male a little bit, so Neo and Trinity want to change the Matrix. One of the worst lines in the movie, Trinity suggests putting rainbows in the sky. Obvious SJW language inserted in a bad scene. Neo and Trinity fly off like Neo did in the first one, and at the very end of the movie, I felt a little embarrassed to be watching it. I heard going into this that this would be a trilogy. I definitely think it needs 2 more movies. The story is clearly not done. There's a lot of unanswered questions. There's even a lot of room to build up and even fix shit that happened in this movie. So I did like the movie, but after thinking about it a little bit, I am lowering my score. I don't like Trinity having the powers of the One. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 because it needs superior sequels to validate it. With The Matrix, I feel they really do know what they're doing. Even if the sequels are bad, they'll be watchable, entertaining. But it's essential Matrix 5 and 6 do well. If they do so, Matrix 4 is enhanced. Then I can retroactively give it a higher score, like a 7 or 8. But if the sequels are bad, I'm going to go back and rank Matrix 4 much lower. After you realize the whole trilogy was a miss, you can go back to the first movie that started it, and the flaws become so much more present than they were when it was just a standalone film. The Matrix Resurrections was okay. It was better than I thought. I'm looking forward to the sequels. I have faith that they won't be woke garbage and that they will enhance Matrix 4. What did you think about Matrix Resurrections? Did you like it? Do you like the Matrix sequels? Are you excited for Matrix 5? Let me know in the comments. Join the project, take the red pill, and subscribe to the channel.
He is the one.